Leader, Assistant Democratic Leader Jim Clyburn joins us now. Mr. Leader, thank you very much. Well, the polls certainly show the support. The public is way out ahead of Congress. How are you going to try to lead this debate and get the gun law legislation back on track?
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for having me. Well, I think that what you see here is that the Congress is lagging behind the public, as it does very often. I do believe that there's something going to happen. It probably won't go far beyond background checks. That's where there's almost universal acceptance of that. Will we have assault weapons ban or something done about high caliber clips? I don't think so. But the journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step, and I think we'll take a step with background checks, but I don't believe we'll go much farther than that this year.
And don't you think that the American public, especially after Newtown, are going to be disappointed and are going to fault the leadership in Congress, in both parties, frankly, because there are plenty of red state Democrats who have as big a problem with these changes that have been proposed by the White House, by Joe Biden and his task force, as do Republicans?
Yes, that's true. I do believe that the public is very, very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. But we've got to be realistic here. It is the result of redistricting. No matter how it may look, the fact of the matter is, when you start going congressional districts, you get something totally different. I do believe that you could get a stronger, even maybe assault weapons ban out of the Senate if there was some chance of doing it in the House. The fact that the House is not going to go beyond that, I think, is sort of a disincentive for the Senate to go far beyond it. So I think that what you will see Harry Reid putting up is something he knows will pass the Senate and feels will pass the House. He would hate for his senators to vote for something that will die in the House.
Let me ask you about politics in South Carolina, because I know you're supporting Elizabeth Colbert Bush, but last night the Republicans decided on their candidate, and it is the former Governor Mark Sanford. This is Mark Sanford on Morning Joe today.
She's not held office, and right now, the one thing that people know about him is that she's Stephen Colbert's sister. Well, you know, at the end of the day, Stephen Colbert is a very popular, well-regarded comedian, but at the end of the day, he's not on the ticket, and we're going to have a debate about ideas.
So I think you're going to be one of the hosts of a fundraiser for Elizabeth Colbert Bush here in Washington. Tell me why she, as a business person, is qualified and better qualified than the former governor.
Well, let me say this. I congratulate Mark Sanford on a victory. But just remember, Mark, you had never held office before you got elected to Congress as well. And there were people in that race who had held office. So the fact that you've held office as opposed to someone who is not, that's not going to do it for you. What I think is going to do it in this race is that the people will get a contrast. They will get a for the future. Just to be talking about what I did on deficit reduction, how I feel about the debt, that is not going to do it. I really believe that Elizabeth Colbert has a tremendous vision for the future. I've talked to her. I've known the family for a long time down in Charleston, and I do believe that the vision that she lays out for the people in the 1st Congressional District will, in fact, carry the day. And I think that she's going to be successful on May 7th.
And just very briefly, Mr. Leader, how much do you think Mark Sanford's personal transgressions, what happened with his family, his marriage, and in terms of disappearing from view as governor, how much should that, if at all, be an issue for the Democrats?
Well, the disappearance I don't think is going to be an issue, but I think when you look at the ethics report, I think that most people have not looked very hard at the ethics report. I suspect that the Colbert campaign is probably going to highlight that ethics report and things in there which I do believe that Mark Sanford needs to answer for. Yes, God is a forgiving God, but he will not be voting, or she will not be voting in this election. I think that the voters are going to make this determination, and voters are concerned about ethics, and so I think that that's going to be an issue that he's going to have to face.
Thank you so much. I think we can agree that he or she, the deity, will not be voting in the election. Thank you very much, Jim Clyburn from South Carolina.
Thank you for having me.